Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Grivanadari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Grivanadari. Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanacharya. Yamuna Tira Vanacharya. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivanadari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivanadari. Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanacharya. Yamuna Tira Vanacharya. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Vishnupad Paramhangsa Brahmadakacharya Asidhara Situshi Shiman His Divine Grace Shri Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Raj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande Haribol, Slava Zabrani Bhaktam, Slava Shri Guru Shri Garangi. Om Agyanatamanandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chaksuramilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Scha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raganatam Vidham Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sabadutam Prajana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Visakan Svitamscha. Hey Krishna Karna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namosute Tapta Kanchina Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Prishubhanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Panchakapa Dhrubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 8. Prayers by Queen Kunti, text number 41. Atta Vishvesha Vishvatman Vishvamurte Swakeshu Me Sneha Pasham Imam Chindi Dridam Pandushu Vishnishu Ata Vishveshva Vishvatman Vishvamurte Swakeshu Me Sneha Pasham Imam Chindi Dridam Pandishu Vishnishu. Ata Vishveshva Vishvatman Vishvamurte Swakeshu Me Sneha Pasham Imam Chindi Tridam Pandishu Vishnishu. Ata Vishveshva Vishvatman Vishvamurte Swakeshu Me Sneha Pasham Imam Chindi Tridam Pandishu Vishnishu. Ladies. Ata Vishveshva Vishvatman Vishvamurte Swakeshu Me Sneha Pasham Imam Chindi Ridam Pandishu Vishnishu. Ata Vishveshva Vishvatman Vishvamurte Swakeshu Me Sneha Pasham Imam Chindi Sridam Pandishu Vishnishu. Ata. Therefore, Vishva Isha, O Lord of the universe, Vishva Atman, O Soul of the universe, Vishvamurte, O Personality of the universal form, Swakeshu, unto my own kinsmen, may my Sneha Pasham, tie of affection, Imam, this, Chindi, cut off, Dridam, deep, Pandushu, for the Pandavas, Vrishnisu, for the Vrishnis also. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. O Lord of the universe, Soul of the universe, O Personality of the form of the universe, please therefore sever my tie of affection from my kinsmen, the Pandavas and the Vrishnis. Purport: a pure devotee of the Lord is ashamed to ask anything in self-interest from the Lord. But the householders are sometimes obliged to ask favors from the Lord, being bound by the tie of family affection. Srimati Kunti Devi was conscious of this fact, and therefore she prayed to the Lord to cut off the affectionate tie from her own kinsmen, the Pandavas and the Vrishnis. The Pandavas are her own sons, and the Vrishnis are the members of her paternal family. Krishna was equally related to both the families. Both the families required the Lord's help because both were dependent devotees of the Lord. Srimati Kunti Devi wished Shri Krishna to remain with her sons, the Pandavas. But by his doing so, her parental house would be bereft of the benefit. All these partialities troubled the mind of Kunti, and therefore she desired to cut off the affectionate tie. Pure devotee cuts off the limited ties of affection for his family and widens his activities of devotional service for all forgotten souls. The typical example is the band of the 6 Goswamis, who followed the path of Lord Chaitanya. All of them belong to the most enlightened and cultured, rich families of the higher castes. But for the benefit of the massive population, they left their comfortable homes and became mendicants. To cut off all family affection means to broaden the field of activities. Without doing this, no one can be qualified as a brahmana, a king, a public leader, or a devotee of the Lord. Personality of Godhead as an ideal king showed this example, but Sri Ramachandra cut off the tie of affection for his beloved wife to manifest the qualities of an ideal king. Such personalities as a brahmana, a devotee, a king, or a public leader must be very broad-minded in discharging their respective duties. Srimati Kunti Devi was conscious of this fact, and being weak, she prayed to be freed from such bondage of family affection. The Lord is addressed as the Lord of the universe, or the Lord of the universal mind, indicating his all-powerful ability to cut the hard knot of family affection. Therefore, it is sometimes experienced that the Lord, out of his special affinity towards a weak devotee, breaks the family affection by force of circumstances arranged by his all-powerful energy. By doing so, he causes the devotee to become completely dependent on him, and thus clears the path for his going back to Godhead. So the text again. Ata Vishveshva Vishvatman Vishva Morte Svakeshume Sneha Pashami Mam Chindi Drida Pandishu Vrishnishu. O Lord of the universe, soul of the universe, O personality of the form of the universe, please therefore sever my ties of affection for my kinsmen, the Pandavas and the Vrishnis. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Budaya Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Vacharne Nirvishesha Srinivadi Paskyadyade Satarne. Here mentions about Queen Kunti having weakness. So what is that weakness? Obviously, in the Dwapara Yuga where she was present, there are many very strong kings and warriors. So obviously, she wouldn't stand a chance fighting against them. Is this the weakness that's being referred to? Of course not. The weakness is weakness of heart. And what is that weakness of heart? Here it mentions the attachment for something other than Krishna. That in the absence of the spiritual energy, being under the spiritual energy, one is automatically under the material energy. And the material energy makes one weak in heart. Because weakness of heart also takes away one's intelligence. And when the intelligence is taken away, then one becomes confused. and also one loses all good qualities, as it says in Kali Yuga, tatas chanudinam dharma, dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. Real dharma is to become Krishna conscious, to be conscious of Krishna all the time. Of course, in the material world, people don't realize that they're suffering from weakness of heart because they have no experience of having strength of heart. Therefore, they can't compare what actually their present consciousness is to what real consciousness should be. Because they don't have the experience of being under the internal energy, and therefore being fearless. The number one quality in the material world of having weakness of heart is fear. Everyone is always fearful. Fearful for one's own body and for the bodies of all other living entities that are connected to this body. Therefore, Shukadeva Goswami, when he was talking to Maharaj Parikshit, he mentions that people are more or less attached to this body, and what is it all about? This nidriya, nriyate, naktam, vavavayena chavavayam, divya charteya rajan, katumba bharanenava. That people are very much afraid that they're going to lose their opportunity to what? Nidriya, to sleep. People are very fearful that they won't have a nice place to live, or some place to live where they can fall asleep and having a good, nice rest. Therefore, Hiranyakashipu is called Haranya gold, because you need gold to buy a soft bed. So he was Hiranyakashipu. He underwent great austerity and penance for 120 years of the demigods. What was his objection? To get a soft bed and some gold. And what's the whole thing about? Nidriya riyate naktam. So at night we can sleep peacefully, and vavavayena chavavyam. And if there's some special opportunity, then one can have sex life. That's the Madhurya Rasa in the material world. This is the pinnacle of success. Even if one can fight like a tiger, or sleep like a bear, or eat like a hog, still the real success is to have sex like a pigeon. Or if one cannot do that, at least like a hog, liberated. Being able to have sex with one's mother, one's sister, one's daughter, or anyone who passes by. This is called liberation. This is LGBT. You can add all the letters after that, and this is true liberation, the hog. A hog doesn't have to he doesn't need Freud. He doesn't have to go to a psychiatrist. That he's, somehow or another, he's always feeling bewildered and lusty, and he can't help himself, he can't control himself. He can't lose weight because he can't stick to a diet. He's anything that's put before him, he eats, whatever it is. And when he sleeps, no one disturbs him. So if a hog slept for 3 days, everyone would be quite happy. And as far as defending, he's not going to learn karate, but no one wants to get near him. So he's pretty well protected, because he smells like a hog. So this is not the perfection of human life, at least. But what is it all about? All this attempt to sleep like a bear, have sex like a pigeon, then go shopping to buy all the different things, make money and shop. But it's all deha patya kala tradishu, atma sanyeshva satsupi, tesham pramato nidanam pashanapi napashiti. The actual goal is to become free from fear. And what is that free from fear? It's deha, the body. Make the body strong. Take your vitamin pills. Go for the walk. Watch your diet. Go to the dentist regularly. Every 6 months have a checkup. What is it all about? Fear. It's all about fear. Something's going to happen to my body. And if something happens to the body, it's happening to me too. Because it all starts with avidya. Avidya means ignorance. We don't really know who we are. Like if someone told us, you're a fool. Immediately we get very disturbed. How dare you call me a fool? But they've been actually accurate because we don't know who we are. So if we don't know who we are, we must be a fool. We may know everything else about this material world, supposedly, what's going on. But if we don't even know who we are, how can we say we're learned? Therefore, Sanatana Goswami, when he went to Lord Chaitanya, he said, Ke ami, who am I? Now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's say you're a learned scholar, you know so much, you know Sanskrit, you know Parsi, you know so many different languages. You must be a great, people call me a pandit, he said. But actually I'm such a pandit, I don't even know who I am. And of course, for most people, they think, well, I know who I am. I'm this body. Which body? That little baby body, or this body, or your old body? Which body? I'm that little baby body. That's the one I really like. But you don't have a little bit. That little baby body has disappeared. Where'd it go? Where's this body going? So to think that I know who I am, I know so many things, Ke ami, ke trapa, why am I suffering from the threefold miseries? If I go to the dentist and go through the torture of having my teeth drilled, is that going to prevent me from getting another toothache? Can the dentist sign a little letter? I drilled 15 of your teeth today, so I guarantee you won't have any more teeth, no more cavities, because you don't have any more teeth. They've all disappeared. I've cured you. No more teeth ache, because you have no more teeth. That's not the ultimate goal of life, to get free from the miseries that way. Therefore, one should try to understand what our real problem is. Avidya, we don't know who we are. And when we don't know who we are, due to the illusory energy, we're liable to identify ourselves with something we're not, this body. And as soon as you get a body, you get parents, you get relatives, you get so many different things. And then we identify with all of them for what? Because we hope they protect my body from death. And I'll protect you from death. I'll protect my dog. We all have a compact. You help me, I scratch your back, you scratch my back, and our scratch, we feel really good. The itch goes away temporarily. But Atma Sanyesh, but how can as Lord Brahma told Hiranyakashipu, I really appreciate all the austerity that you went through for 120 years. You can tell me what you want. So Hiranyakashipu said, I don't want to die. So Brahma Mura said, good luck. You met the wrong person. I can't help you because I'm going to die too. If I knew how not to die, I'd do it on myself. I benedict myself. Lord Brahma, I benedict you. But I'm going to die also. So how can I help you? I don't want to die. So how can I stop you from dying? I can't stop myself from dying. At every moment, I'm getting older. Now I'm 150 trillion years old. I'm getting real old. The first gray hair appeared after 150 trillion years. So I realize I'm in middle age now. I better start doing some exercise. I've been sitting on this lotus flower for too long. No, Lord Brahma is going to die after another 150 trillion years. And he's worried about it. And because he thinks he's Brahma. He thinks he's the body. So that's called asmita. And as soon as that's false ego. And as soon as one has a false ego, then automatically there's so much attachments and aversions all centered around the body. Whatever body we have, we're going to have so much attachment, so many aversions. And just think of modern society, how confused people have gotten because they have uncontrolled senses. I don't even know what the initials are. L, G, Q, B, T, B, and now they have like 15 different initials to describe a person, his attachments and his aversions. So this is due to our weakness of heart. And Prabhupada explains here in the 15th chapter, the word anaga, by which Arjuna is addressed, is significant. Anaga, a sinless one, means that unless one is free from all sinful reactions, it is very difficult to understand Krishna. One has to become free from all contamination, all sinful activities, then he can understand. But devotional service is so pure and potent that once one is engaged in devotional service, he automatically comes to the stage of sinlessness. In other words, we want to put Krishna and Srimati Radharani in our heart. That's why we're chanting Hare Krishna. Because if they're, as much as we actually want them to be in our heart, invite them through the process of devotional service, then they illuminate their heart with transcendental bliss and love. And that destroys with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. That all material contamination, yatai damso samridyo ganir, basmat satkuru terjana, ganagni sarvakarmani, basmat satkuru tejana. That as the blazing fire turns firewood to ashes, so does the fire of transcendental knowledge burn to ashes all the reactions of all our previous activities. But that depends upon how much we actually have accepted that everything here belongs to Krishna, and it's meant for his service under the direction of his devotees. That if we accept that, and then if we do our activities to please Krishna as his humble servant, then the result is that Krishna appears within our heart to accept our service. If we don't want to offer Krishna service, then why will he appear in our heart to accept the service? Because we're not offering it to him. But if we do, then as soon as he comes in our heart, with that, when we have that attitude of trying to please him in service, then he illuminates our heart. Evam. First of all, he uses, we're here in class, just to get the intelligence, what to do. How to put Krishna in the heart is actually what the whole class is about. How to manifest, how to act in such a way as that Krishna wants to come and manifest himself within our heart. And then if we try to do that, Tesham Sadatam Yuktanam Bhajantam Priti Purvakam Dadami Buddhiyogam Tam Yena Mamupiyantite. To those who are constantly devoted. So in other words, the whole idea is just increase the amount of time that we're actively engaged in Krishna's service. Consciously engaged in Krishna's service. Consciously aware of the fact that everything here is Krishna's, and now I'm utilizing whatever energy I have in Krishna's service, under the direction of his authorities. Then Krishna will manifest himself. If I have the attitude, I'm doing this to please him. And then, so we're trying to increase that process. Understand how everything is Krishna's, understand what Krishna wants us to do with his energy through Guru Sadhana Shastra, taking shelter of Paramatma within the heart, and then developing an attitude of wanting to please him. And we do that in the association of devotees. We learn how to become conscious of not just Krishna, but Srimati Radharani and her followers, who have that attitude of trying to please Krishna, who have an intense desire to please him. So in their association, then we can experience that intense desire also. We don't experience it because it's there in our heart. We experience it in relationship to others who have that intense desire, in association with them. Then when we have that intense desire, Hare, represented by Srimati Radharani, then Krishna comes. And they exchange their Radharani and Krishna, they exchange their loving exchanges with each other, and we're part of the instrument. We're making the arrangement for them to come together, at least in the Hare Krishna mantra. So we also participate in that loving exchange. Then there's no more weakness of heart. Well, first of all, Krishna will give us the intelligence how to do that, if that's what we want. If that's what we're inspired to learn how to become more steady in our service with more enthusiasm. Not that it's time for arti, Mangala arti. Oh my God, it's so early. How do these deities get up every day like that? This is too much. No, some enthusiasm. Now I have an opportunity to actually see Krishna and remember him, and maybe get a little closer to putting him in my heart, experiencing love and bliss by doing so. This is my opportunity to free myself from these problems I have in material existence. Then, Krishna dadami buddhi yogam tam. Krishna is giving all living entities intelligence, but when he sees that someone is trying to become more steady in service, trying to become more enthusiastic, more loving, developing more service attitude, then Krishna dadami buddhi yoga gives the intelligence, the realization, the experience by which one can actually make progress in devotional service. Realization, enlightenment. And when one utilizes that enlightenment and it becomes steady enough and it becomes sincere enough, then tesham eva nukampar tam mahamma jnana jam damaha na shamyam yatmabhavashto jnana dipyena bhashvata. Then Krishna is there, just waiting for the opportunity. He reveals himself out of compassion, out of love and compassion for the soul. He sees that the soul really wants him. In spite of all the difficulties the soul is going through, trying to become steady and enthusiastic, all the obstacles, all the problems that are being put before him, then Krishna takes compassion, that this is my real devotee. Or as Prabhupada writes in the Bhagavad Gita, one must be able to pass the test of the spiritual master. And when the spiritual master sees the genuine desire of the disciple, he automatically blesses the disciple with genuine spiritual understanding. That in this verse, both blind following and absurd inquiries are condemned. And one should not only hear submissively, but one should get a clear understanding through submission, service, and inquiry. The spiritual master is by nature very kind to the disciple. When the disciple is always submissive and is ready to render service, then the reciprocation of knowledge and inquiries becomes perfect. So that's why we want to show Krishna we're sincere. That in spite of all the problems that we're facing, still we try to make some progress in devotional service. Then Krishna will be very pleased to encourage us more and more by giving us a real taste of bliss and love and enlightenment. Bliss, knowledge, and eternity. But we have weakness of heart. Therefore, Prabhupada said, while performing devotional service in the association of pure devotees in full Krishna consciousness, there are certain things which require to be vanquished altogether. The most important thing one has to surmount is weakness of the heart. So if you ever feel depressed, if you ever feel discouraged, if you ever feel anger, frustration, these people don't love me and I don't love them either. They don't care about me and I don't care about them. Let them all vanish for all I care. So this is all part of the weakness of heart. Being not only a little bit frustrated, anger. I'll bite them, I'll eat them if they get near me. So who suffers? We think, oh, let my suffering just out of my heart, cause everyone like me. My suffering. So the whole idea of devotional service is to get over this, but in spite of the fact, whatever our mind is telling us, the whole story that is behind our suffering, how we want to get even for all these people they don't love me, they've mistreated me, I'm a victim. I don't deserve to suffer, but they do. But please, Krishna, empower me as a source of suffering for others, out of love for you. Fulfill your mission. Arjuna fought on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and I'm fighting the Hare Krishna temple for justice. No, Krishna wants us to become joyful, susukam kartum aviyam, overcome these weaknesses of heart. It's difficult, but that's what he wants. So the Prabhupada writes, the first fall down is caused by the desire to lord it over material nature. Control. I got to control. I got to figure out how to make the arrangements to fulfill what I want. Rather than how do I make the arrangements to do what Krishna wants. If we try to make the arrangements to get what we want, we may be successful from the material point of view. We may get degrees, we may get honor, we may get appreciation, and at the end we'll get a very nice tombstone. This man or girl was successful. He got all his material desires fulfilled, and now even Krishna can't figure out where they went. You'll have to call up Yamaraj, he knows. He was completely successful in the material world. Everyone was envious of him. But now, only Krishna knows where they went. So this desire to make all the arrangements for our happiness, for our security, for our whatever. This week, Krishna will give the intelligence for that too. Or he'll give us intelligence how to make arrangements for Krishna's mission, for our spiritual advancement. Krishna will give that intelligence too. So the first thing is to give up this idea that we're going to make all the arrangements, and then, as we used to say, we used to say when Prabhupada was here, that if you simply depend upon Krishna, then if you simply distribute books, then everything that you need will come. And now our motto is, if you simply make all the arrangements, then one day you'll be able to distribute books. When everything is nicely arranged and you can go out and distribute books. And in the meantime, don't trust Krishna. Just try to make all the arrangements, and then one day in the future, some future lifetime, you'll be able to distribute books. So one is depending upon Krishna, and the other is just depending upon our imagination, our will, that we can make all the arrangements somehow or another with our intelligence. And if we can, it's not my fault, it's Krishna's fault. He doesn't cooperate. What can I do? I try, but the Lord doesn't understand. So the second weakness of the heart is that one increases the propensity to lord it over material nature. So the first one we want to control, and then we can't control, so then we try harder to control. You get more frustrated and more angry. And if we can control, then it increases, greed comes in. There's no amount that I want to control. Even Brahma is not satisfied. He wants 2 universes. Why control just one? 2 universes is not enough. And then one becomes attached, he becomes attached to matter and the possession of matter. And then everything we have is my defense. My pen that I have in my pocket is my defense. I can't lose it. If I lose it, I become mentally disturbed. You stole my pen. I know you got my pen. Give it back. I need my pen. Last time you stole my glove-jamin. Now it's the pen. Who knows what's next? My sari? You're going to take my sari too? I'm having a bad day. So the problems of material existence are due to these weaknesses of heart. So we may think we have so many problems, the price of the euro, or where I'm going to sleep tonight. Food wasn't cooked according to my desire. These are so many problems. People don't love me. Someone looked at me the wrong way. This is really a problem. But the real problem is the weaknesses of heart that we have. As Prahladananda Maharaj said, there's no enemy in this world except for the uncontrolled mind. But we don't think it's... Maya says, I'm not your enemy. I'm just torturing you for your own good, that's all. I'm just trying to make you humble so you can surrender to me. But actually it's the weakness of heart which is our real enemy. And how is it manifested? We can't listen to anyone. And even if we're making a pretense of listening to someone, it's like my mind is telling me what for everything they're saying, I have an answer. And we're just wait, please, would you stop talking so I can finally give you the answer? It's hard enough to sit in class and have someone, tell me this philosophy, but I'm listening to you. Who are you to tell me what to do? Don't you realize who I am? No, who are you? I don't know, actually. That's a good question. I never thought about it. No, the real thing is to listen and try to actually hear what people are saying. Because unless we can hear what people are saying, we won't know what to do to serve them. And if we don't want to serve them, then we don't really want to serve Krishna either. If we think, this person, he might be a spiritual soul, but I doubt it. Spiritual souls wouldn't act like that. He might be under Krishna's control, but I have my doubts. No one could be so nasty as they are and be under Krishna's control, because Krishna is a nice person. Whenever he sees me, he smiles at me. Whenever I see the deities, they're always smiling. So I know Krishna likes me. This person doesn't like me. So how can they be a representative of Krishna? This is all, therefore why should I listen to them? They have nothing to tell me. But I could tell them how to actually properly reciprocate with me, as they should. So this is all due to weakness of heart, and it's not so easy to get over it, but that's why we have class, so that someone can remind us that the same thing over and over again. Don't take our minds so seriously. It's not necessarily our friend. It could be our friend if it tells us what to do, that will help us develop love for everyone. Or at least love for the devotees at first. And in a way that will allow us to hear from Krishna and his devotees so that we can apply it in our service. Apply it in our service doesn't mean just try to save the conditioned souls by distributing books or Harinam. Also try to save ourselves by developing actually an appreciation for the devotees, those who are performing devotional service. If we see somebody chanting Hare Krishna and we're envious of them, then our taste for the holy name goes away. So at least for our own benefit, we should try to appreciate others, whatever they're doing in Krishna consciousness, and try to put out of our mind, by listening attentively to Krishna's instructions, all out of our mind, it's not that people are not doing things wrong, but what good does it do to us to see that what they're doing wrong? It doesn't really help us very much. Unless we can help them and point out what they're doing wrong, that may be beneficial for them, but otherwise, just to think, oh, you're doing this wrong, this is wrong, everything, then that's called material existence. Because in the back of our mind is, I'm thinking it's wrong, and if I could control it, because Krishna doesn't seem like he's doing a very good job of doing it, but if I could control it, the whole universe would be better. Put me in charge and just see what happens. Krishna, why don't you wake up? I know it's Chaturmasya, but still you shouldn't be so much asleep to allow all these things to go on, especially in my presence. So I'll stop there. Thank you. Any questions or comments?
I'm just amazed in dreams.
What's that? Okay. Thank you very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Pimanande.